It's science. Than most, but definitely not old.
No.
I was older when I got my master's. I
Right?
wasn't a traditional student for my associates, my bachelor's, or my master's. So.
Nothing wrong with that.
Well, I was gonna be nearly
And I
30
did
when I graduated
I got
from
my
law
GED.
school.
You're a good
And I
girl.
told my dad, I said,
Very
Daddy,
proud of it.
I would be nearly 30 when I graduated.
Right.
He said, you're gonna ride. And we drove further down the highway and he said, so in 3 years, how old are you gonna be if you don't go to law school? So,
There you go.
Sounds like my dad. Sounds like my dad would have said it.
but he was a wise man. Well, thank y'all. I appreciate your understanding my jumping from thing to thing and,
Thank you.
but I appreciate y'all.
Yeah, you're
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Very, very much. It's encouraging to me to get to come and talk to y'all. So
Yeah.
I just mark out a time on your calendar. Once a month, we'll get together
Sounds good. We can do that.
as if we all are sitting around with
Well,
nothing
we
to
can
do.
make time for it.
Thank you.
We can make time. It'll be okay.
Okay, thank y'all.
Thank you. Good to see you.
All right, let me run down the office for a second. We'll let everybody else in.
I'm gonna run these downstairs real fast.
Good morning.
How are you?
Hi,
Good morning.
You're early.
It was free here.
Isn't that something?
That's because he was already in
Good. Well, Sean, did you get it done?
What?
Your prime.
here.
Both sides.
We're doing the other side today.
Okay.
Because block line's so busy.
I got
Well,
you. When are you gonna start needing a roller and a dump truck?
we're gonna chip seal one side tomorrow so we don't lose the prime. Then we're gonna do the other side Thursday.
Okay.
And then next week, we're gonna do the whole road.
Sounds good.
And I have, I didn't make extras of
Appreciate y'all's help, by the way.
You let me
the
know
Pines Day.
if you need
But
anything
do I
other
need,
than a
I've
dump
got
truck
2
and a
extra.
roller.
Is there
We'll get
anybody
that.
else that will?
What's the distributor?
Table or?
Melody will meet
Yeah.
tonight. I'll be one to the auditor.
There you go.
Okay?
Okay.
Absolutely.
You're good there?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll send you some of it.
As far as I know. Otherwise,
Okay.
I think you still parked out there.
Well, that was the last time I was down there.
We're gonna go get it and then it started raining.
How are you doing?
I'm doing
Good to see you.
Good to see you. I'm not sure.
Are you rebounding
I am.
when you can? We gotta go
It's
on
a
those
busy
cold,
season.
they get a cold one, right?
Yes.
Rebound from hotels.
That's right.
Oh, I called Jeremy and he said, oh, damn. We went a different direction.
I know Dr. Clark, we don't have it until.
You did. I went to, instead of this one, I went to this one for now, right there, and he already had it up. And it was on a different page, so I just went back one and went to go back,
Yeah,
go back a page.
and I go, she's like, come back next week, and if it's still not, then we probably need to do some scans and see if you can do something.
I want that first page
I'm
again.
like, I don't think.
They show the icon.
I just think it's just.
That?
Yeah, I've always did too.
I know, and that's what it's supposed to do, but for some reason it's
Hey, sir, how are you?
there. So I gotta figure out,
Window, Kent's, Karen.
and I don't know enough about iPhone.
Oh,
I was like trying to hurry up and.
yes.
So I walked out and asked her. She's
I don't know
going
enough
to around,
about
she's go back
Go
up
there.
around.
So
Oh.
let's go.
She said she's going back to him. So,
Yeah, she went to get him and dropped him off at the youth center for me, cause I was like,
mhm.
cause I had to meet with
Too many
Joe
buttons, Jeff.
Court, and I'm like, gotta get him in there.
Let me see what they do. Can you scan the document for me? Send it to me?
I feel like that's a reason.
He was not here, is he?
No.
Are you
Get a
doing the
chair.
thing at the road show?
I can do that or I can stand.
Yeah, just go with that one.
So don't touch nothing.
Well, you can, don't hit the back button. You can touch these to open those up, and it'll just open up in a new folder or browser, but that first one is gonna be.
That and also
Okay.
put my email where I can open my.
Everybody else got
What is this different? Cause mine,
I don't know, he went somewhere, he tried to log in.
what is the?
I
don't know where.
can check.
I mean, maybe it's
I didn't
I don't want to do that.
If I did, I would say.
Oh, I'll tell you in a minute, let's.
Okay, because I didn't have to do it.
No. Heavenly Father, we come before you today to do the county's business, and we ask that you guide us as we do so. We ask that those that have come to visit us make it back safely to wherever they're going. We ask that you be with those that protect us here locally, statewide, the U.S., and around the world. In Jesus' holy name I pray, amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
It was, and I'll have that back up next meeting. We had a budget meeting before this one. I'll have the pledges up next meeting.
There's Chad.
Okay, at this time, any person with business before the court not scheduled on the agenda may speak to the court. No formal action to be taken on these items at this meeting. Each speaker will be limited to 3 minutes. How are you?
Good. I was up in the DA's office.
Why are you back there?
Have we offended you?
I was just like, I'm gonna sit a bit late, I'll sit back. I'll sit outside after we're done and everyone can take a just kicking my butt. I'll be late anymore.
He's being the bad kid today, has to sit at the back.
I'm pretty sure. He's a bad kid. He can try to portray a bad kid.
All right, court discuss and consider action to be taken on the following interprecinct project schedule and staffing. Anything that we do with?
We are doing block line. I appreciate everybody's help. We're finishing the prime on the other side today. We're going to chip seal what we primed, one side tomorrow, the other side. Next week, we're gonna do the entire thing, and it's going good. We've had the deputies out there, they've really helped, and people honestly been very courteous about, because yesterday was on the west side. Of course, just like anybody that runs a sprayer, the wind gets up the minute you start. And I have guys at each end and at Cavender, and they told them, said, if you go down there, you're gonna get it on your vehicle. But it's been good, and so that's pretty much the plan. So How do you stand, on yours?
Well, every time we work on it, it rains and I have to quit. So I still like
Keep
it.
going and work on it.
We're not gonna
Get
get
some more rain.
I like about a week getting ready to for everything.
Okay. I didn't know where you stood, because if everything goes right, we'll be through block line Tuesday, Wednesday maybe. Because we're double chips on what we primed. So, but anyway, that's all I got.
We've got our first 327,000 pound out of 84 truck trailers going to the solar plant with the batteries.
Good.
And that was last week, so that's going to continue until completely finished.
Good.
They're repairing the road as
As they go.
because it's messed up.
Okay. All right. So Thursday is D-Day, the 80th anniversary. And Gene Burns has put together something that's going to be spectacular. There's going to be a flyover at 3 p.m. at WTC. She's got, I think, 3 C-130s that are going to do a flyover out there. Doing a program out there it's going to be at the flagpoles. It's a Red Lantern tribute for those that fought on the beaches of Normandy and in southern France, and those are D-Day Overlord and Operation Dragoon. It's going to be presented by Scurry County 4-H, Lucas Morgan, Liam Morgan, Reese Williamson, Hagan Williamson. All these are the presenters for in 4-H. Kaylin Henderson, Sawyer Henderson, Morgan Hale, Griffin Seipert, and Jagger Jameson. And then the reading of the Scurry County Gold Star Boys of D-Day in Normandy, Operation Dragoon. That's going to be American Legion Post 181, Ray Hernandez and Jose Alcarez. So we would really appreciate if everybody can make it out there. I'll get this flyer to you so you can get it
I've
out
got
there
it
as
all.
well. Oh, you've already got it.
There's only one plane coming though.
Is it one?
Yeah,
Okay.
there was one and then there was 3 and then they got
It's
called
back
to
to one.
something else and now it's back to 1.
Okay. All right.
So
No.
this is at 3.
Yes, it's at 3 out.
7 and 9.
Yeah, there's a 3 o'clock and then a 7 o'clock and then a 9 o'clock. And what's cool is that they're going to be lighting those lanterns here and in France all at the same time.
Well,
So it's going to be pretty awesome. So we would appreciate it. The more people we get out there, the better. So,
do my best.
but I wanted to make you all aware of that. Thank you. Anything else under there? Okay. All right, let's do the TAC mid-year review.
Okay,
How are you doing, Stacy?
doing fantastic. Thank y'all for your time this morning. I've been told to make this short and sweet.
Who told you that?
She can't point fingers.
So y'all have a copy, and I've supplied the data as well for each of the areas that I'm going over. So if you'll turn with me to page 5 on the hard copy or on your, yes, on that one, page
You
5.
have it
Yeah.
on there as well. if you-
So we all know what season this is. I know I got in on it this morning, poked my head in, y'all were already
Yes, ma'am.
hot into this. So we come each year, we talk about your mid-year plan review, just how your plan is performing as a whole, which is of course going to drive your renewal rate very, very soon. There's 3 things that we look at every year we come, and that's the claims experience, your credibility, predictability, and your high-cost claimants or your medical and prescription spend. So I have 2 good news. So two things today that's good news for Scurry County. The first is, if you'll notice, that 12-month loss ratio down to 74.32%. That's really good news. A year ago, for the last 2 years, you've been running closer to 102%, and your 3-year average is closer to 90%. So that's very good news for Scurry County. Not only is that going to hopefully decrease your rate, but that also translates into hopefully our members are doing better. You know, we're wanting to make sure that we're increasing the health and well-being across the board for our members. So as we're talking about numbers today, just keep that in mind as well. The credibility and predictability, this is where Kathy always speaks to Scurry County. This means the age of your members, which across the board, for our territory, Northwest Territory, we are older. That's just the dynamics of our pool members. And so you are about 5.2% older, and that's not so bad. We met with a county yesterday that was 21% older. So, you know, in comparison to that, not so bad. The area factor, that just means that you're closer to Lubbock than you're closer to Abilene than Lubbock. Lubbock is on average about 1%. With UMC and Covenant, it is the most cost-effective place in the state for members to get care. But we understand the dynamics, and you're closer to Abilene, and that's about 6% higher. Amarillo is also very high, about 5%. So it's just the dynamics of where you're at, and that's about 50% credibility or probability. All of these just factor in when the board meets and when the actuaries meet, determines your rate. So we always just come back and remind you all what we're starting from, what's the base that we're starting from, and how that's all determined. The biggest portion is your medical and pharmacy spend. So on the high cost claimants, you've got about 19 in that 10,000 to 19,000 bucket, and 12 in your 20 to just under $50,000 bucket. So a large portion of your members are it's very top heavy. And as Kathy always says, we really need a good even distribution among that, so that one high cost claimant or a number in your lower cost claims, either way, it could potentially just destroy your claims experience. So that's what we're looking at. It helps drive. That's what actuaries look at. That's what's driving your renewal rate. So just to give you an idea, that's how it's broken down. Oh, I have 3 good pieces of information today. So not only is your loss ratio coming down, but what plays a part in that loss ratio decreasing is your high cost claimants. So those cancer claimants that we've seen in the past, they're rolling off, and that's good news. So both of those, the high cost claimants are decreasing, the cancer claims are just decreasing as well. Inflammatory bowel disease is actually driving your high cost claims. And again, all supplied for you here on the data that I provided. On the next sheet, the only portion of this that determines your renewal is that average membership, 2.5%. You've increased that. That's very low. That's going to be minimal, zero impact to your renewal. What we're looking at is for those large changes in membership, because you're bringing on new employees that we have no claims experience. So just know that that's what we're looking at there, but 2.5 is very minimal. That's a zero impact. And so on the next one where we'll start diving down is the financial dashboard for the last 3 years. And that's all of the information contained in these reports, just broken down into an easy to read graph. So the total medical spend, as we're telling you that your high cost claimants are rolling off, that your loss ratio is coming down, this is what it translates to in the actual total medical claim spend. So in 21, just under 2.5 million. To this past year, 23-24, just under 2 million, so 1.7 million. That's a decrease from last year of 31%. So that's a pretty significant decrease. And again, you can see that translated into your loss ratio of only 74%. What we're seeing across the board for our pool members is that pharmacy is outpacing medical spend, and that's true for y'all as well. It's not outpacing, but we see the increase compared to your medical spend that's coming down. You saw a 24% increase from last year in your pharmacy spend. And we're seeing that across the board for our counties, for our pool members. Inflation for pharmacy spend is very, very expensive. And then some of the drugs that you have in your categories are very expensive. So that's what's driving that increase. On the next page, those top diagnostic categories, it's just taking a closer look into your medical spend only, not the pharmacy, but the medical spend. Number 1 is still cancer, but only because that is your top medical spend clear back from 2021. And you can see that it's decreased to just over 100,000 for this last 12-month period. And then digestive, I mentioned your high cost claimant this year is that inflammatory bowel disease, and that's where that sits, is the digestive, and that is for these current past 12 months. And then your third is your musculoskeletal, sprains, strains, joint replacements, rheumatoid arthritis, which is where you're going to see some of your prescription spend, osteoarthritis, that all fits in that bucket. And 22 to 23, April 22 to 23, that's where you saw your top high-cost claimants. So again, for the last 12 months, that's also decreasing. On the next page, those top chronic conditions, we're just taking a closer look at your medical spend and seeing what portion of that is comprised by your chronic conditions, because that's really where we take a closer look on our wellness programs, our Healthy County resources and programs that we have to get members involved in, engaged in. This is the one area of your medical spend that we can drive down in time. We can decrease that medical spend with your chronic condition. So number one is high blood pressure. Just looking at them individually, number one is high blood pressure, and then coronary artery disease, followed by asthma. And although I come in every time and usually talk to my county members about heart disease and diabetes driving our spend, you all are a little bit more unique this year in that respiratory is actually driving, it's exceeding your diabetes spend. And you're going to see that translated in your pharmacy spend as well. So when I lump them together, so heart disease is high blood pressure, high cholesterol, coronary artery disease, congestive heart failure, you're just over 703,000 for the last 12 months in heart disease. And then respiratory is just over 275, and then diabetes and renal over 131. So that's definitely unique. I don't often see asthma and COPD driving your medical spend just under heart disease. So we know that that's maybe some more catastrophic events. Again, not topping your high cost claimants, but just more of that acute, I guess what I should say, rather than just chronic is where we're seeing more of your diabetes spend. So on the next page is where we dive into and take a closer look at your prescription. So the pharmacy spend. 3 of your top 10 are diabetes medications for over 158,000. And then your anti-inflammatory medications, that's where your rheumatoid arthritis sits, and that musculoskeletal and things like that. And then heart disease and respiratory are neck and neck for number 3. So that's where you're seeing your pharmacy spend distributed. Alrighty, and on the next page, your preventive practices. This is where I step in. If Kathy's done all of the data for you, then I step in and we talk about, again, how Scurry County members are coming on board and engaging. Because when we're talking about a cost containment strategy, the benefit for y'all being in the pool is the wellness resources that we have. We kind of walk with you to share responsibility approach, walking with y'all side by side, again, with the objective of driving down that medical spend in time, providing budget stability. I know, that would be fantastic if we could get to that place with Scurry County that we're looking at lower medical spend consistently every year that really provides better budget stability and increasing the health and well-being of our members. For the last 3 years, you averaged 24%, which with having a county-specific incentive in place is low. But it did increase 7% from last year. So if we're seeing an increase, year to year, we're going to take it. That's great news. But we have talked about maybe doing some other things to get more members on board, getting those exams. On the next page, we include dental screenings now because it is a good point of information and education for our county members. Sometimes they don't associate their oral health with their physical well-being, especially related to heart disease, diabetes, even our rheumatoid arthritis and our autoimmune conditions. So you're doing a lot better in the oral health category, just over 41% for the last 3 years. And I always say, we like our teeth. We want to make sure we keep our teeth. So that's just across the board. You see that double almost for our annual physical exams. People are out seeing their dentist. So again, it's a point of reference and communication and education for our pool members as well. On the next page, that healthy county participation, as we're talking about our cost containment strategy, our wellness programs, or the risk management portion of your employee benefit package. So this is where we can start drilling down on those chronic conditions. Hopefully year after year, we're getting more members on board and engaging. and treating those chronic conditions or preventing those chronic conditions before they, if we can catch those pre-diabetics and those pre-hypertensives with Wonder Health and Omada, how are we doing? We saw a decrease in Wonder Health, but Omada increased by 100%, so that's good news. Livongo, that's for people who already have diabetes and high blood pressure, and you did see a 10.5% increase. So that's great news. Little strides forward, step by step. If we're seeing an increase in those programs, then hopefully, in time, we're going to see that translate into better managed conditions across the board. Our ROSTI is for those people who have musculoskeletal issues. MD Live, of course, is the telehealth provider. You did see an increase. More members are utilizing that, so all good news. And you do have members utilizing the employee assistance program. It's minimal, but that's true across the board for our full members. But again, these are just points of reference, education, information for our members, just reminding them that they're there. The Healthy County participation, we track this every year because if we're talking about coming alongside as a pool and assisting you, that's the employer rewards. If you've got money available at your disposal that you can add in and incentivize members for using our programs, for engaging in our programs, you've got $7,000 available to you as a county. And this last year, you got just under $3,300, $3,290. So that's where we're at. That gives us a good gauge of what portion of our members are engaging at the levels that you also are getting incentivized from the pool to come on board. So with the cost containment strategy, it's everything that I've just talked to you about as far as our wellness programs. How effective is our county-specific incentive? It's always a great time when we come in to do the mid-year reviews before you do your renewal to see, do a deeper dive into that. And so things that we need to do, changes that we need to make. And then on the last page, getting down to the nitty gritty, just again, zeroing in on renewal, giving you the information that I know that you're on the edge of your seats wanting to know. I told you I had 3 pieces of good communication. Your loss ratio is coming down. Your medical spend, you've seen a decrease in that. The board met in May, and the renewal rate that if you haven't already, I don't know if Judge Hicks has already mentioned, you're at 4.3% is what the board has set for Scurry County for plan year 2025. The good news is it's a decrease from last year, and it's under the pool needed amount, just slightly. Pool needed amount went into at 4.6 this year. But again, seeing that decrease in your loss ratio and medical spend, you came in at a 4.3. So that's good news. Better news than it being much higher and an increase from last year. I know that's still sometimes very difficult even to manage there. That's where we're really wanting to get members on board and drive down that medical spend year after year after year and see that just decrease again and again over time. The board meets again in July, so they reserve the right to change that renewal rate based on claims that are still coming in. But Kathy looks at that every month. So we've got, what is this? June 15th, we'll have May data. So we'll definitely take a closer look at your claims again before the July board meeting. But so far, there's not anything coming across that we can see that will change that.
So were we last year? 11?
It was high. I don't remember.
I don't
honestly.
remember y'all being a double digit,
Maybe
but
it
I
was-
could be
I
wrong.
thought it was 8.7.
I was thinking it was lower than 9.
Okay. That's right. I
Yeah,
think the year before was 11.
okay. All right. And the renewal packet will be emailed August 29th, but again, Kathy will reach out to Misty and you, Judge Hicks, as soon as the board meets in July, because we know that you need that number to confirm your budget, so.
Okay.
All right, thank you all so much for your time today, I appreciate it. Okay.
Stacy, you just said Kathy.
That's okay.
Sorry.
I'll take it. Y'all have a great day.
You too.
Thank you.
Yes, we'll talk to you later.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
If we quit having birthdays, will our demographic change?
I don't know that you want to quit having birthdays.
The demographic will change because you're dead.
Yes.
I do like-
Then you enroll in.
Birthday stuff.
The one thing I did not grab was the bids for fuel, oil, and grease. Let me run and grab those real quick. Mingle amongst yourself.
I could do whatever I do, but you know.
Yours doing the same thing Jeff's did.
Mine was fine until she started messing with it. It was working.
You don't have to worry about pictures and the whole thing. You don't have all this in it.
What stuff?
Everything. All of the.
Well, because you, hold on, because you're, let's see. How to get out of that?
Double click. And
Pretty sad when I can operate one of them.
Oh, that was,
um,
I just keep swiping.
Yeah.
Would you like one that works,
We
Amy?
got 3 bids, who wants?
Just roll out
There you go. Sorry, Sean.
I'll just tell this one. That's not handle the birthday.
I had him feeling,
Yeah.
I had him feeling.
What you got there?
A&G Petroleum. I guess it's just. Nap.
Just a minute.
There's a nap flying around here, carrying shoes over here.
Okay, so ethanol-free unleaded gasoline, 86% octane is 3.449. Price, it says price per gallon, not profit per gallon. They marked out profit. Clearing red dyed diesel, ultra low sulfur, marked out profit again and put price. 3,629 for clear, 3,199 for dyed price per gallon.
So they're just gonna keep the same price all year long?
Yes.
You know, people should call you and tell you, you just gave us a solid price, it's all year long, $3.69 for diesel.
Who was it? That was,
It could be good. Just a
Then it could be
bad.
Right now, it could be bad.
Petroleum. AEG, I'm sorry.
We
I misunderstood.
don't use clear, so it's red.
Well, we do over at the filling station.
Right.
Motor oil for gasoline, cost, marked out profit, 901.26 per drum,
They put a date on there too, but
5/16/24 for all of these days. I guess effective that day.
we're
Oil.
only that day. We're only that day.
Only that day. Yeah, unable to pass that. Oil, motor oil for diesel, 901.26. Hydraulic is 720.86. Transmission is 967.35.
This is legacy.
Okay.
As far as I'm concerned, when they mark out profit, they put something like that, they're out anyway. They're not doing what we're asking.
I agree.
Safety clean systems. Ethanol-free unleaded, no bid. Clear and red dyed diesel, no bid. Please see attached for all the oils.
So they didn't even go on the fuel.
No. You.
Up there, and then over upside down too.
Let's look, see what Legacy's got.
You don't want the prices on there? I don't know that they're showing prices. Richard Petty. All right, Legacy ethanol free unleaded is refinery cost 10 cents, freight per gallon, 0.09 profit. Clear and red dyed diesel, 0.07 freight, 0.08 profit. Oil, motor oil for gasoline is $2.80, profit per drum. Diesel motor oil is $300, profit per drum. Hydraulic is $3.25, profit per drum. And transmission is $2.90, profit per drum. So, those are the
Suncoast didn't submit a new one?
Put on
I
the
don't
line.
see one.
I've been arguing back and forth with them about the rack price. They sent me an in-house generated price that for their particular yard. That's not what's required, and so I sent them a sample of Legacy, showing them what we received from them for the rack price. I put it in a letter to them and gave them the difference between Kendrick's oil and what Legacy. I hadn't heard a thing, so I guess we pay them and we're done.
What's your pleasure?
The oils, that's the only thing that I had a question about.
Which one?
Is the per drum profit on oil cheaper with clean, safety clean, or, well, I know that they got the gasoline, somebody else that bid correctly.
They did their oil in such a way that
Did they do it in drums or?
looks like that.
Well, that's my fault, because they said, tell us what you use, and I said, just send us what you have. And they did. Then we can choose what we want. Great. Fire. I think I'm gonna have to look at the oil side of it. There's no doubt what the gasoline side is, but they may be cheaper, I don't know. I know Suncoast was way cheaper on oil per drum. And not to say that Legacy's is out of range, it's, I think he said 20% markup, which is not unusual. But I don't know what,
Do they show per drum on anything?
well,
I
it's
see
just,
cases, but
yeah, I don't really see that. I don't know it, they have their stuff involved.
Oh, wow, that's a little big.
Take a picture of it with your phone, I guess.
100 gallons, there's the drum right there.
So they went gallons,
Only
cases.
gallons, cases, and drums.
Drums.
And here's a drum cost, say, for 5W30 synthetic is $840. Discounted price is $781. Discounted 7%.
So see, we can't tell from that because they're giving us total costs.
right.
How do you know that their oil's not gonna go up next 2 months, or go down?
Well, we're at what, 32 hydraulic? So their drum price is $537.
Is that for one day?
Exactly.
There's no way to know, is it? I mean, that doesn't even make sense. It can't be.
Well,
Well, it could be, but somebody's gonna lose. I mean, we're gonna pay too much or they're not gonna get any profit.
so,
Really on my side, it doesn't really make any difference because I have a business relationship with Legacy. So I'm abstaining anyway.
I'll make a motion, we use Legacy.
so
No
now,
fuel and oil.
For who?
Legacy.
Legacy?
second,
All in favor?
Oh, I'm abstaining.
That's what you're saying. I'm abstaining. Yes.
You second that, Sean? It's 401.
All right, let's do certification of additional revenues, and we'll start with EMS. Do you want to do them all at once, Angela, or individually?
We can do them all at once,
Okay.
or it doesn't matter to me.
Okay.
I have them all printed from when I first typed them up, so.
Okay, so we have EMS certification, XS10, 2 different XS10s and 1 for precinct 4.
Yeah,
From
so,
damages.
what's the EMS one? Hold on. Okay, no, I don't,
Well, I guess we have to see it though.
Yeah, you can see it.
No.
yeah, it's in your little, it's in your scroll down thingy, or you can click on the link thingy. Depending on how you are with it.
587.50.
I'm using specific terminology for you, just for you.
Well, scroll down.
Technical.
I am a low-tech guy.
There you go.
Yes, sir.
So the EMS, the first one is $587.50. That was, he had, there was some damage to one of his ambulances for the hail that hit, like a gale, and our deductible now is $1,000 because of how much claims we've had. So they raised our deductible, and so this is what we got. This is $587.50 to pay for that. And I believe I have a budget amendment later to go with that as well. I don't know, what is the next one I'll have on?
10s,
In
the
order.
2 10s, either one's fine.
Okay, so I have sale of assets for, I think this one was the jail. It was $464.46. It was the sale of the XS10. And there will be a budget amendment placing that into the jail maintenance and repair expense line. That is not the right thing to staple to. And then the next one is sale of assets for road and bridge for $11.25. Sale of excess 10. And then the final one is road repair for precinct 4 for road damage from RWE Clean Energy LLC, $375,000. A budget amendment will be presented at a future court for precinct 4, but certifying the additional revenues of that.
Make the motion, we certify all the additional revenues as presented.
Second. All in favor? Okay, line item transfers and budget amendments.
Yeah, those get a little bit more tricky. Get all the way down to the bottom. All right, so we have county clerk, line item transfer. This is the original of that one, I did find it. County clerk going into other equipment, out of regular equipment, $45 to clear a line. Then we have golf course into capital expenditures, out of utilities, $1,927. His capital line was over budget. Then there is an electronic only one. The EMS one is electronic only.
Okay.
It is EMS equipment under 1,000 from maintenance and repair for $3,182.84. And to move money into equipment for road fitness invoice for accounting.
To pay rogue fitness invoice.
For proper accounting procedure.
Sounds technical, I
I don't know what we purchased. It's attached down below.
Yes.
Oh, I guess for in there.
Just
Yeah, when we go into your new building. So that's the last one on transfer. You want me to go ahead and do the budget amendment?
Yes, ma'am. Please.
There is the jail for maintenance, repair, miscellaneous for $464.46 that I just certified. And then EMS for vehicle maintenance of the $587.50 that I just certified. And I believe that's it. Yes, that's all.
Make a motion to approve the line item transfers and budget amendments as presented.
All in favor? And then accounts payable?
Accounts payable is $1,824,120.07.
Make a motion to pay bills.
All in favor? I believe that would mean we would adjourn.
No executive session.
Executive session. Thank you, appreciate it. Are you gonna be out there